Okay, hi, how you guys doing? This is going to be the second installment of my 2017 Grow Diary here. And again, I plan on doing these about once a week, just so you can see what a difference a week really does make. When you're in the middle of it yourself, you may not see that progress because, you know, it is incremental. But I'm telling you, with your soil built up properly and a decent feeding regimen for your plants, you really will see improvement and yields much faster than you think. Now, this is my tomato, my black crim. As you can see, it's got a lot of blooms starting to open up, so this guy is getting ready fast. And I'm feeding it the same stuff that I'm feeding my pepper plants. These are my jalapenos. They're starting to set pods, starting to get pods on my poblano as well. Now over here, the farmer's market jalapeno. This is just kind of interesting to note. You'll see right here, take a look at the flower. When the petals start to curl upward like that, and you see that it's splayed wide open, and you can clearly see the pistil, that's a good indication that it has set fruit. Not always 100%, but fairly good thing to go by. Now over here we have one of the jambellas. See how much larger the fruit have become. All right, come on, focus. Focus, focus, focus. It's not wanting to focus. There we go. That's about as good as we're gonna get, I think. Not sure why the camera is doing a drug haze, but here we go. Espelets from where we were a week ago. You see how many pods have set on this guy. Guy too. Loaded down with peppers. Loaded. This one has not even flowered yet. It's decided it's just going to grow bigger, and that's fine. Give me a better yield in the long run. It's a Jamaican red mushroom. Throwing a really bizarre pod here. The others do look normal. Aleppos, all setting fruit. Now, the Sugar Rush peach, I did talk about this for a fairly long time on the last video. And bears mentioning again. I mean, look at this. This is the first round of pods set, and you can see them all over here. All over, tons of them. And these two plants, this one's getting ready to open its first round of flowers. Now the Sugar Rush kind of sets pods in waves. It'll set, anywhere between like 10 and 20 at a time. Like, it produces big. And they'll start off typically growing upward like this. Eventually, as they get larger, they'll go pendant. But yeah, once these start producing, they kind of produce a bunch, grow a bit, produce a bunch more, rinse and repeat. But key, again, just because it doesn't take them long to produce, but it does take them exceptionally long to ripen. Get them in the ground early if you want a good season off of this. Because of course they do taste best and are more nutritionally valuable at full ripeness. The ahi pineapples grown bigger, but they're not flowering or setting fruit. The smaller of the two habaneros got some blooms open. It's catching up to the big boy over here, which does have some, come on now, decent fruit here developing. You can see it. A lot more pods on it than that. Caribbean Reds coming up. Yellow Scotch bonnet. Larger of the two Scotch bonnets over here. The yellows, that is. And very cool as well. I'm getting more of that classic bonnet shape actually on the pods this year. Last year most of them were more rounded and smooth. This time I'm getting that bonnet shape, and I selected out of the pods I had last year, try and encourage that. And we have the Freeport Orange Scotch bonnet over here. That has started producing as well. And 3 of those plants. Should get a lot of them. And the virtues of topping when you need to. Here's my Primo Reds that were kind of sick. Now look at them. They're bushing out. They're gonna get huge. So they won't produce till later, but I'll get a lot more of them, and I have a much healthier plants. Here, my 7-pot lavas. These are getting ready to produce. Yellow Primo looks like it's set a pod for me. It's interesting. Chocolate Bootless, yes. Now these here are Sherwood's Carbaruga Red. This, I already have pods on this, a pod on this one, and a pod on this one over here. Let me show you actually. Right. Come on. Here, and more setting. These are the Carboneros. These are growing big. Haven't really set much fruit yet, but I'm not worried because I have a bunch of them. First one is set over here. We have liftoff on Carboneros. Interestingly enough though, before that pod set, the Carbaruga set first, so it's odd that my super hots are beating out my hots and some of my milds this year in terms of a race to who's producing first. Blood Orange Copenhagen's, I did pinch a bunch of buds off of these because they're too small right now to sustain that much fruit, and I didn't really focus on them last time, but they had so many buds on them it looked like they had dreadlocks. So, and at this size they really can't support that much fruit. Right here, some red ghosts, and they're looking like they're trying to produce. The Douglas also trying to produce. Scotch Brains. Now we have Apocalypse opening flowers. You have the Carbon Boot 7 Yellow by Primo Red. Looks like one of those has set a pod. The Big Black Mama is trying to set pods. Over here, Bootless Scorpion's trying to set pods. These are 7-pot Wests, those are blooming. Bubblegum 7-pot blooming. And all of my Moruga types over here. See if I can get you a good shot of this guy. Yellow Moruga, pride of the super hots so far. It's coming in nice. It's got spikes on it. And that's it for this video, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up. Maybe I'll show you some of what I feed them later. Just give you some info about what I tilled into the soil before we started this. I'll keep you guys posted, and you can see the progress of Chile Grow 2017. Later.